Here we go. I am Susan Bruck, and I have been offering these nap-ins for a few months. This is a circle of sacred rest, and the nap-ins were inspired by this book, Rest is Resistance by Tricia Hersey. It's because it helped me realize even more how much we need rest and how scarce rest is and how much our society discourages us from resting. We live in a time when we can go 24/7, always more to do, be more productive. But what we need to access our health, our creativity, our calm, our times of quiet. And sometimes it's easier to find those in community. For those of you who don't know me, I was a Waldorf early childhood teacher for over 25 years. So part of my job, most school days, for most of that time, was to offer naps, create a nap space for the little ones in my care. So I consider myself a nap expert. I love to take naps myself. And I've structured this in much the same way that I structured the naps for my children. Since we're virtual, I can't come up and rub your backs or your feet to help you relax. But I hope that you can feel the love and the space that is held for you to rest and renew. So I invite you to get comfortable and lay down if you can. Get some pillows, a blanket, and eye mask if you like. If you listen with earbuds or earphones or a good speaker, you'll hear better, but use whatever you've got. So, and you can listen to everything that I say if you want, but feel free to use my voice like a gentle raft to carry you down the stream of sleep and rest, and just let yourself drift away. You don't have to listen. There's no test at the end. If you want to hear the end of the story and you miss it, the recording will be posted sometime soon. So before I start with the readings, let me give you an overview of what to expect. So I like to start with a reading from this book, Rest is Resistance, that I just shared with you. And then another reading from Rest is Sacred, just to create or help us remember why rest is our birthright. It's not something that's just a waste of time or that we do if we have to so we can be more productive. And then I will read you a fairy tale. And after that, I'll sing some lullabies and do a little sound healing. You can't really see all my instruments, but I have 3 bowls here and some tuning forks and my Koshi chimes. Today I have earth and water. And we'll have a few minutes of silence. And then I'll come in and quietly say goodbye and sometime around 1:45 or 1:50. So if you want to keep resting afterwards, if you're able to, please do, and just ignore my voice at the end. And that's it. So welcome, 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 beautiful dreamer. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the sacred rest time with me. And we will begin with a little reading from Rest is Resistance. This is about dreaming and dream space. The dream aspect of our rest work is deeply tied to the metaphysical and spiritual. It is a time to be free from the confines of linear and grounded reality. The idea of being trapped in the box of the practical must be suspended during your deprogramming. Grind culture thrives on us remaining in our heads, unable to allow the technology of our divine bodies to soar and develop. There's massive knowledge and wisdom lying dormant in our exhausted and weary bodies and hearts. I believe the dreaming part of our unraveling will be the most challenging because it goes against all we have been socialized to maintain the pace and disconnection of grind culture. White supremacy thinking has taught us there's only a binary, and the rigidity of this type of thinking keeps us available to the toxic systems, but unable to inhabit the divinity of our true selves. This is a time to simply stop and feel, a time to not force or attempt to make sense of what can and will happen when we allow our bodies to heal from the massive load we have been carrying consciously and unconsciously. Can you remember a moment in your life when you have been told that the machine pace of your days is not normal? Sit with this for a moment. Breathe this in for a moment now. There's been no space for any of us to dream of anything outside of what we have been born into. To hear the simple and bold proclamation, you are doing too much. You can rest. You can just be. You can be, is revolutionary. To believe it and continue to dream up ways to feel and find rest, care, and healing is liberation. And here is a reading from Rest is Sacred by Octavia Ephraim. This is a place to put old bones down, to reset and restructure, resurrect, starlight, red clay, sand, your body. This is a place where hearts and minds follow breath through portals to reach galaxies of quiet. There is no performance to render. The most productive thing to do is nothing except witness what rises up within you when you lie down. Whatever comes up when you rest comes to be healed. Oh, and as I was preparing for today, I pulled a card from this deck called the Rooted Woman Oracle deck by Sandra Blackie, who is one of my heroes. And the card that I drew is called The Bridge, which I love. My name came from the German word die Brücke, which means the bridge. So I thought, perfect. And here the bridge represents the place between worlds, but it can mean anything that you want it to. The bridge. So let us take the bridge from our everyday life to rest, and let the child in you, the one filled with wonder, enjoy this fairy tale. It's called The Poor Miller's Boy and the Cat. It's one of the stories collected by the Grimm brothers. In a certain mill, there lived an old miller who had neither wife nor child, and 3 apprentices served under him. As they had been with him several years, one day he said to them, I am old and want to sit in the chimney corner. Go out, and whichever of you brings the best horse home to me, to him will I give the mill, and in return for it, he shall take care of me till my death." The third boy, however, was the drudge, who was looked down upon by the others, and they begrudged the mill to him, and meant that he should not have it anyhow. They all three went out together, and when they came to the village, the two said to stupid Hans, "You may just as well stay here. As long as you live, you will never get a horse." Nevertheless, Hans went with them, and at night they came to a cave in which they lay down to sleep. The two sharp ones waited until Hans was fast asleep, and then they got up and made off, leaving him where he was. And they thought they had done a very clever thing, though really it turned out very ill for them in the end. When the sun rose and Hans woke up, he was lying in a deep cavern. He looked round him on every side and exclaimed, "Oh, heavens! Where am I?" Then he got up and clambered out of the cave into the forest and thought, "Here I am quite alone and deserted. How shall I obtain a horse now?" As he went walking along buried in thought, he met a little tabby cat who said to him kindly, "Hans, where are you going?" "Alas, you cannot help me." "I well know what you are seeking," said the cat. "You wish to have a beautiful horse. Come with me and be my faithful servant for 7 long years, and then I will give you one more beautiful than any you have ever seen in your whole life." "Well, this is a wonderful cat," thought Hans, "but I've a good mind to see if she is telling the truth." So she took him with her into her enchanted castle, where there were nothing but cats, who were her servants. They leaped nimbly upstairs and down and were all very merry and happy. In the evening, when they sat down to dinner, 3 of them had to make music. One played the bassoon, the other the fiddle, and the third put the trumpet to his lips and blew out his cheeks as much as ever he could. When they had dined, the table was cleared away, and the cat said, "Now, Hans, come and dance with me." "No," said he, "I won't dance with a pussy cat. I have never done that yet." "Then take him off to bed," said she to the cats. So one of them lighted him to his bedroom, one pulled his shoes off, one his stockings, and at last one of them blew out the candle. Next morning they returned. And helped him out of bed. One put his stockings on for him, one tied his garters, one brought his shoes, one washed him, and one dried his face with her tail. "That's a very soft towel," said Hans. He had to work for the cat, however, and chop wood every day, and for that he had an axe of silver, and the wedge and saw were of silver too, and the mallet of copper. So he chopped up the wood and lived there in the house and had good meat and drink, but never saw anyone but the tabby cat and her servant. Once she said to him, "Go and mow my meadow and make the hay." And she gave him a scythe of silver and a whetstone of gold, but bade him deliver them up again carefully. So Hans went and did what he was bidden, and when he had finished, he carried the scythe and whetstone and the hay to the house, and asked if the time had come for her to give him his reward. "No," said the cat. You must first do something more for me of the same kind. There are beams of silver, a carpenter's axe, a square, and everything that is needful, all of silver. With these, build me a little house. Then Hans built the house and said that he had now done everything, and still he had no horse. Nevertheless, the 7 years had gone by with him as if they were 6 months. The cat asked him if he would like to see her horses. Yes, said Hans. Then she opened the door of the little house, and there stood 12 horses. Such horses, so sleek and well groomed that his heart rejoiced at the sight of them. And then she gave him something to eat and drink and said, Go home. I will not give you your horse to take away with you, but in 3 days I will follow you and bring it. So Hans set out, and she showed him the way to the mill. She had, however, never once given him a new coat, and he had been obliged to keep on the dirty old smock frock that he had brought with him, and that during the 7 years had become ever so much too small for him. When he reached home, the 2 other apprentices were there again as well, and each of them certainly had brought a horse with him, but one of them was a blind one, and the other lame. They asked Hans where his horse was. It will follow me in 3 days, said he. Then they laughed and said, Indeed, stupid Hans, and where will you get a horse? It will be a fine one. Hans went into the parlor, but the miller said he should not sit down to table, for he was so ragged and torn that they would all be ashamed of him if anyone came in. So they gave him a mouthful of food outside, and at night, when they went to rest, the 2 others would not let him have a bed, and at last he was forced to creep into the goose house and lie down on a little hard straw. In the morning when he awoke, the 3 days had passed, and a coach drove up with 6 horses, and they shone so bright that it was delightful to see them. And a servant led a 7th as well, and that one was for the poor miller's boy. Then a magnificent princess alighted from the coach and went into the mill. And who should this princess be but the little tabby cat who poor Hans had served for 7 years? She asked the miller where the miller's boy and drudge was, and the miller told her. We cannot have him here in the mill. He's so ragged. He is lying in the goose house. Then the king's daughter said that they were to fetch him immediately. So they brought him out, and he had to hold his little smock frock together as best he could to cover himself. The servants unpacked splendid garments and washed him and dressed him, and when that was done, no king could have looked more handsome. Then the maiden desired to see the horses that the other apprentices had brought home with them, and one of them was blind, and the other lame. So she ordered the servant to bring the 7th horse, and when the miller saw that, he said such a horse as that had never yet entered his yard. And that is for the miller's 3rd boy, said she. Then it's he who must have the mill, said the miller. But the king's daughter said the horse was there for him, and that he was to keep his mill too. And she took her faithful Hans and set him in the coach and drove away with him. They drove straight to the little house which he had built with the silver tools. And behold, it was now a great castle, and everything inside of it was of silver and gold. And then she married him, and he was rich, so rich that he had enough for all the rest of his life. After this, let no one ever say that one who is silly can never become a person of importance. And that is the end of today's story. Lullaby and good night with roses being tied with lilies being spread. Yes, babies weeping. Down and rest. May your slumber be blessed. Lay down now and rest. May your slumber be blessed. Lullaby and good night with roses betied with lilies bespread. His babies weeping. Lay down now and rest. May your slumber be blessed. Lay down now and rest. May your slumber be blessed. Sleep, my child, and peace attending all through the night. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night. Soft and drowsy eyes are creaking. the night. Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night. Soft and rosy eyes are creeping, ill and dim in slumber sleeping. I, my loving, If you wish to continue resting, either just ignore the sound of my voice or turn this off. And if you are ready to return to waking life, I invite you to bring your attention back to your breath and take 3 deep, mindful breaths at your own pace, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then take a moment to notice how your body feels and your mind and your heart. When we finish here, if you'd like, take a few minutes to journal about your experience or about anything that came up for you during this resting time. And if you want to share anything with me, I would love, love, love to hear from you. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing this sacred rest circle. And to close, I want to dedicate our rest. Whatever goodness this rest has brought, we dedicate it to all beings. Whatever insight or joy we found, we willingly share with all beings. Whatever merit our rest generates, may it be multiplied to infinity for the happiness and welfare of all. Wishing you sweet dreams, healing rest, and deep peace. Until we meet again. Goodbye, beautiful dreamer.